Hi, hello, hello. We have a new chapter of Attack on Titan. Sorry for skipping a couple of videos. I just didn't have the time to read all of these chapters on video, but we're tuning back in at a pretty exciting time. I feel like we must be heading to the absolute climax of the series, not just because of like meta information I know about this being, I think, the last volume, or like we're in the penultimate volume or something. But also just because there's not much left to do. The rumbling is happening. All of the wall titans that have loomed ominously over us through the entire run of the series are now running amok, squishing continents flat, led by the most grotesque and horrifying transformation of Eren and the Assault Titan into this uh, Origin Titan, Founding Titan abomination towering high above the horizon. It's pretty monumental times. I don't really think they can go much further than this. But at the same time, I really don't know how this will play out. There's still some pretty key mysteries, still a lot of plots and schemes that our heroes, I suppose, our ragtag group of former enemies and adversaries, now working together to somehow get through to Eren, somehow change his mind, either by persuasion or force, before the world is completely stomped flat. Wow, it's crazy. Just the imagery of it, just the sheer wall of titans squishing down everything. And now we have something completely different. It's two kids hiding money in a bag buried underground. One of them has had their left hand cut off already for stealing. Somebody has to do it so everyone can leave that worn out tent. So could this be related to the people that they met with on the continent? We had that like long flashback kind of before this final climax where they had met and ate and partied with this family, and it seemed like that had a moment of major ideological significance for Eren. Perhaps motivating him on this, the only way forward is to annihilate this violent civilization and all of its grudges. Um, I don't know. Seems like a total non sequitur. If I die, please give everybody this to everybody. Okay, so this was just a little slice of these kids' life as the town evacuates, I think, from the rumbling. Yes, the ground is, and then the chapter title, very cool. The rumbling. I'm so impressed with the way they keep kind of varying the depictions of these titans, the distance at which they're shown, the angle, just to constantly re-remind us of the true sense of their scale. Both remind us and then also kind of like obscure it from us. Like this shot especially is fantastic as an example of what I'm talking about. Just they seem like little dots on the distance. And it's only until you really think about the perspective of what you're seeing that you imagine how huge they actually are compared to all these buildings, all these trees in the foreground. And then maybe we'll cut right from this, ooh, to birds. Birds flying en masse out of the trees. I'm reminded of in the previous chapter, or perhaps the chapter before that, where they're sailing off to try to repair the airboat, the flying boat, or whatever they call it, in one of the continental ports, and there's like a seabird, a seagull flying overhead with them. Just this imagery of like history being accompanied by the movement of birds, these kind of transcendental enemies. These birds aren't going to get rumbled, they're not going to get squashed. Yeah, sure, maybe life might be tough for them without trees to live in or perhaps a lot of food to eat. But there's this very ominous sense of them just kind of flying and observing and kind of marking these paths through history, but without really affecting them or being affected by them. Ooh, it's pretty interesting. Don't know how long it'll take, but someday those people, I'll massacre them all. Here we see shots of Libero the upper class, the aristocracy, and then the impoverished. These are the two kids we saw before. I'm not sure if that narration, that little inner monologue we saw a glimpse of someday I'll massacre them all. Is that supposed to be these kids? I don't know. Looks like they work as chimney sweeps. That's like the cliche, terrible, terrible job that they used to get kids to do back before child labor laws. Before long they'll all die. No, I'll kill them. Okay, so it's Eren thinking this stuff as he wanders the town. Right, therefore it's decided. In the future too, Paradise Island didn't find a way to survive, right? Anything and everything will be lost. Houses, people, animal, lives, dreams. He sees a pregnant woman. He thinks briefly of his own mother, taken from him all too soon. I love the sort of abstract, collage-like paneling that this author really has been employing a lot of lately, especially in these flashbacks, these sort of connecting of memories and stuff. You know, it's already taking great advantage of the language of manga and the medium to just have these narratively, wordless images creating a story, you know? Just seeing the pregnant woman, a look on Eren's face, you can kind of tell how he's feeling. You see into his thoughts. You see his narration develop based on that sequence of images. But he takes it to the next level, this mangaka, with the paneling. This like wide shot, kind of movie-esque, showing the whole scene, and then this tiny little portrait of a painting of Eren's face. And then, slightly askew, at like a Dutch angle, his memory, as if it just kind of thudded into his mind involuntarily. Just little touches like this. I'm really impressed, because often when authors get to this super climax point of their series, where there's so much momentum behind the plot, you can tell they start phoning it in, thinking, okay, well, all the manga has to do at this point is just convey the plot, because like this is the point that everybody's been waiting for. There's no need to hype it up anymore, but you can still do really subtly good things with every aspect of the structure, just to immerse people even a little more. Once you must die, us Eldian people, just like how the King of Walls chose the path of suicide. At the very least, the number of people between the island and the outside that would die is a huge difference. It's the truth that if the Eldian people were to be completely extinct, the problem of the Titans would be gone. And this, of course, is Zeke's plan. This is Zeke's merciful killing plan. Let's just all die. Let's just give up this fight. We had a good try. All the Eldian people can no longer reproduce. Let's just bow out gracefully and walk hand in hand into the sunset, so to speak. But Eren cannot agree with that. He cannot accept it. That boy, I saw him in my future memory. So this is one of the kids that's stealing. Yeah. So this is maybe when he got his arm cut off. This boy. His hand. Or whatever. I saw him in my future memory. I should probably help him. Future from another country and repeat. What am I thinking? I'll kill that boy someday. How conceited. No limits to the violence I'll be committing from here on. No excuses for my pretend justice. Kid vomits, being kneed in the gut. Yeah, this sort of brutality, this like very human, very down-to-earth brutality is something that this series has really emphasized in contrast, in a weird harmonic contrast with the much more over-the-top apocalyptic violence of, you know, gigantic titans duking it out and crushing city blocks with ease. When it shrinks down to this small scale, where you can see the faces, when you can see the vomit, it's kind of casts everything in like a different light, and two different lights are being shined, two different shadows being created by these same decisions. But you can see why Eren, I don't know, he's gonna kill them all anyways, right? Like, but he saves him still. The future doesn't seem like it can be changed. I was the same. Reiner, a piece of shit. No wrong. Worse than that. I'm sorry. Sorry. And that's what these kids said when they first turned their attention to the rumbling. So there's crying. Already, somehow, did they make the connection? This little kid remembering this incident when this man cried in front of him. Okay, now we cut back to the present. Very disjoint storytelling insofar as we saw these kids whom we don't really know outside of just that context that I could recall. But it's not like, we're super invested in these characters as agents of the story. There's nothing at all these kids can do. But they serve as this entry point into Eren's psyche, but of what consequence? Again, it's kind of like, I don't know, there's this sense of kind of futility, of being unable to change the course of history that they've already gone down. Look at this. Again, just I thought they might cut right from the distant little dots of Titans to a shot like this. Because again, like it's in connecting all these different images that you can really start to make it real in your mind, that your imagination becomes more dimensional. It's fantastic. Oh man. And I love the faces of these wall titans. They really held out for quite a while on showing them to us. Besides, of course, the really famous one that the piece of concrete falls off or whatever. Oh, hello. This new batch, the fully unleashed cadre of gigantic titans. They really did shroud them for quite a while, as I was saying, in all these different angles, all these different perspectives. And it's only been in these last few chapters that we're actually seeing them up close. I really like how they're depicted in contrast to both like the human colossal titan, which always had kind of a look of intelligence to it, always seemed to be observant and aware of the world, to like the mindless titans that had almost kind of like a drunkenness to them. Not so much like an absence of intelligence, but just this carnal desire, this relentless hunger and feralness, like an animal, like a wild, unintelligent animal. And then these that don't really seem, they look mostly like zombies, if anything, I would say, where you can see the capacity for intelligence, where you can see there could have been a brain in these things, but instead they are automatons. They are single-minded in their purpose. They're not getting any glee from it. There's not some burning desire within them that makes them walk forward. They're simply instructed to. I don't know. It's well done. It's subtle, but it's well done. Just the blankness of their eyes. Everybody's running. Go up the mountain. Just kidding. There's more. There is more. That's an amazing shot too. It reminds me of the end of Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman, if you know that one. Silhouettes on a hill. Just the ominousness of it. I don't know. There's a kind of a film scene inspired by something they actually do in real life that I've always really liked, where if someone is missing, let's say in the woods or in a field, you make like a wall of people. You make an all-encompassing wall of people, spread out only a few feet apart, and you just walk in sync, kind of expanding outwards such that you cover all the ground. Everybody looks everywhere. I don't know why, but somehow that image has just like really stuck with me over the years, that I find it really powerful and moving, this idea of a whole community walking together in sync in order to save someone, who's gone missing. I've always tried to capture somehow in my mind like what makes that so both beautiful and haunting, distressing and yet serene. And I think in seeing this ring of titans doing the flattening, the great rumbling of the continents, I get like a strange inversion of that same feeling, that it looks the same, it has the same motion, the same regularity, that same sense of simultaneous communal purpose, and yet instead of trying to rescue some poor kid who got lost, they're going to crush everything and kill everyone. It's really interesting. Okay, so they're all freaking out. Not only people run away without even saying anything. To be crushed. No way, you can't give up. Okay. If I was a Eldian living in Liberia, I would simply run underneath the Titan's foot. Look, look, bump, 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 and then now you're behind them. You're safe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think the way this is being depicted, I don't think that's an option. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's from the steam that the Titans generate as well, the rumbling and earthquakes of their feet hitting the ground. Yeah, I think we're supposed to think of this as totally doomed. The solution isn't going to be just swerve between their legs real quick. It's really beyond the walls. It was different from what I dreamed of. Ooh, another great shot. Just look at this. Yeah, you can see, I guess, yeah, everything is getting churned up. It's like a non-stop earthquake. Simply dodging getting actually squished by their feet is just step one. But you're a rip either way. And these guys might actually get squished. Here comes the big Titan foot. And it's powerful that in a series that's so lauded for its choreography, for its intricate action scenes, for having all these different Titans with different abilities and stuff, that this final, ultimate existential threat is just walking forward. Slow, plodding footsteps. It's really powerful. Just that contrast. That this is the absolute. It's just power. You don't need to fly around in 3D. You don't need thunder spears and super titanium swords or whatever. You don't need to have big jaw or warhammer or anything. You just need to be really, really, really big. So yeah, here we can see the rubble catastrophizes these kids. When I learned that humanity lived outside the walls, I was disappointed. Just intersecting with this Eren monologue. Wow. Oh man. They're good at this, you know? Bringing in these very minor characters. Letting you just have just as much of a taste as you need of them to really begin to empathize, to care about them, and then just brutalizing them. Just mercilessly brutalizing them at the hands of the plot, at the hands of this relentless history. Another fantastic shot of the Wall Titans. This one, yeah. Full page. I wished for everything to somehow disappear. I'm sorry. Jeez, this shot. Oh, man. So sorry. Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. And it'll happen to them all. Everybody's got a story like this. Everybody's got a life they've lived up until now. But no further. But no further than this. Jeez, yeah. All these big one-panel pages are just fantastic. It's like, I love that in just a few pages, they've established almost a separate entity from the Wall Titans. You know, the Wall Titans whom we've seen from so many different perspectives, now at this ultimate low angle, looking up at them, looking up at their hugeness. They don't even really exist anymore as a Titan. Instead, it's just these two elephantine feet that actually interact with the world. That these become like the real entities. Like this shot here, the foot that's about to crush them, you can't even see the body attached to it. Just this one grotesque foot. An absolute. And then they continue onwards as if nothing happened. As if there was never a city there to begin with. Fantastic shot. Oh man. Just the way that the series has built up such an iconic visual language. The Titans, of the walls, of the fights. And then in the end, it seems like this is not just a new visual element, just not a new thing that they're depicting, but like an extreme, like a final evolution. Because, you know, that's quite what it literally is. It's the biggest titans of all after dealing with so many other big titans. Now, we have this. Ever since I was born, in front of my eyes, there's always been a depressing wall. Burning water, land made of ice, snowy plains of sand. The outside world is much wider than what's inside these walls. This is Armin's book, which we've heard referenced a few times, I think. I suppose it's meant to just be kind of like fantasy, right? As far as people on Paradise Island are concerned. They wrote it. They have no idea whether or not it's true. It sounds good. Maybe there are legends and rumors filtered all the way back from like pre-memory wiping era. But it's all been distorted so much that really only a child would take it seriously. Same with Armin's dream of seeing the sea, right? It's something that's like disputed. It's something that its existence is debatable. But to Armin, it just kind of makes sense. Like maybe he believes that a lot more than the fact that there's a land made of ice. What? You know, in the real world, we're getting rid of that one pretty quick. Anyways, oh man, look at Armin's happy face. So nostalgic. Those who've seen it must be, in all the world, the most free. And this is, again, another seed that goes into Eren's brain. Another thing on which he blames the Titans, blames the walls that keep the Titans out, blames his own shortcomings and inabilities. It's all tied together with these dreams. This is freedom. Here we see young Eren. Eren of the age when he read that book. Literally on top of the world. Standing perhaps in some sort of metaphorical space, but his actual body towering over even these wall titans. Taking in even the curvature of the planet. And he falls into this kind of melancholy. Finally, I've reached it. The scenery. Hey, Armin. Armin's not there, bro. Oh, he is! Now you're in End of Evangelion world. You're in Berserk world. I don't remember what I was calling it before, but you know what I mean. The space of the founding titan. The world where Ymir is living alone, building things out of sand. Where Eren double-crossed his brother. I wasn't sure if we'd come back here. Like, is Ymir still here then? Is she just like chilling somewhere, watching Netflix? I don't really know. Is Armin actually here? Is this actually something that Armin has been able to call Eren into with this kind of psychic titan hotline, or is this just Eren kind of reflecting using this space? Unclear. Life would be so laid back here. I guess they're going to be on the boat for a while. I don't know. They were giving some like timescales and stuff, and they all seemed pretty doomed. But they're doing their best to get this flying boat online. So yeah, I can't tell if he's actually talking with Eren or not. I kind of don't think so. I think he's all himself just here with Annie. I haven't thanked you yet. All those years for talking to me. I feel crazy from the loneliness. 90 Hitch is the only thing I look forward to. There's someone brighter and more fun. Because I wanted to see you, Annie. Armin has a crush on Annie. Cute. But is it really his crush? Or when he ate Berthold, did he somehow inherit those feelings? This is something they hinted at once before. And even though it was kind of like more just a larger argument of like, how can you really even say you're yourself? How can you have these convictions when I know you go talk to Annie? And don't you think that's more just Berthold's personality coming through? It was kind of like a throwaway line just to sort of advance this general argument of like what is up with Armin. Um, but I thought it was a very haunting thing to say. It was a very interesting question of this idea of inherited feelings. Why do we care for someone? Why do we devote ourselves to someone? Can it really be so simple as saying, oh, it's because I ate the body of the former possessor of this generation's long titanification curse, and he happened to have a crush on you? No, it's much more nuanced than that. Many layers. Many layers and angles. Poor Armin. What can he do in this situation? He genuinely blushes. He genuinely blushes and fumbles over his words, even though he's this general, this master strategist. It's friggin' love. Right now, thousands, millions of people are out there being crushed. Just, what are we doing? Okay, since you're a good person, you even talk to an enemy like me. Same reason you won't give up on talking to Eren. When are you gonna realize? Keeping company with a monster like me too, you're just running away from conflict, aren't you? I said this before. I hate being called a good person after all. I've killed many people, not only soldiers, people, children too. Choosing to betray everybody I grew up on the island, killing my comrades, became a monster long ago. So I imagine he's alluding here to the big raid on Libero, where he just wiped out the entire Marleyan navy. Of course, that whole plan was very much spurred by Eren. It wasn't like they all sat down and decided this was the best course of action. It was more he forced everyone's hand at once. But I think that weighs pretty heavily on Armin, that he did so much damage, that he destroyed so much and killed so many people. And yeah, in the last few chapters, there's been a lot of killing of other Eldians, other people they grew up with, people that they were in the Scouting Legion with. All this stuff is weighing pretty heavily on him. He also considers himself a monster. He's not doing this anymore for any sense of self-righteousness, for any sense of moral absolvance that if he does this, he'll feel better about himself, that all these sacrifices will be worthy. I don't think it's that anymore. I think he's just doing it just because you can, just because there's the only thing you can do left. One day I made the promise with Eren to go on a journey into an unknown world. I thought we'd make that dream come true. It's a great thing after all. It's different than the world we saw in our dreams. Ooh. Now this is interesting. I was talking before about the seagull, or a seagull, and this whole idea of birds kind of flying overhead and signifying the course of history, but not being near it, not interfering with it, not being on the level of those enacting it. So what's up? What's with this change? Is Armin gonna go all lighthouse on it? It's a pretty strange reference for me to make. Hopefully one of you has watched The Lighthouse and knows what I'm talking about. Still, that which we don't know must definitely be out there beyond the walls. That's what I want to believe. Here we see Eren's face totally deep within the founding Titan, Ymir, exoskeleton, original parasite, whatever thing that is. But still him. Somewhere deep in there, still him. But what is up with this bird? Looking at this bird. It's so interesting, because this image was from the chapter before. This chapter had the crows, but the bird flying overhead and showing the ships and stuff, that was a different one. Okay. We're looking forward to the next chapter. Looks like it won't be for a little bit, but pretty exciting, right? We must be heading into the climax. I have no idea what's going to happen. What's up with all the time loop stuff, too? When will that be explained? The memories of the future, not just Eren's future memories, but when his father's friend, what was that guy's name? Owl or whatever, was like, do it for Mikasa and Armin. And his dad is like, who the hell are Mikasa and Armin? I don't know. What was up with that? When is that going to be explained? Or has that already been explained, but I just don't get it? I don't know. Let me know. Everyone always lets me know, and I really appreciate that. I'm sure I misremembered and didn't notice a bunch of connections in this chapter, as always, but I'm doing my best. And really, I just want to appreciate the series. I want to, you know, get what I can out of it. So yeah, please let me know what you think is going on. What am I missing? Are there things that have flown over my head, like that gallant seagull? Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.